Hi students, good afternoon everyone. So today we are going to discuss the hydrogen and its compounds. So as we know, hydrogen is the first element in the long form of the periodic table. So today we are going to discuss about that hydrogen and its compounds. Okay, so let us start. So if you take the hydrogen, the element hydrogen, as we know, it is a diatomic element, and this diatomic element, this element was discovered by first time Henry Cavendish. Henry Cavendish. Okay, and he prepared this hydrogen by treating iron filings, iron with an acid, that is H2SO4. Okay, so when he treated, he got FeSO4 and by the liberation of hydrogen. Okay, so like that, the first time the hydrogen was first time discovered by Henry Cavendish, and at that time he called this hydrogen as, what is the name he given to this hydrogen? He called it as an inflammable gas. Inflammable gas. He called this hydrogen gas as inflammable gas. Okay, next one. As we know, the hydrogen, it is the lightest gas in the periodic table. Lightest gas. Lightest gas in the periodic table. What do you mean by the lightest gas? Lightest gas means among the all elements, this element is having lesser weight, lesser density. Okay, and as we know, this is the most abundant element. It is the most abundant element in universe. In universe, hydrogen is the most abundant element. Approximately 70% of universe is filled by the hydrogen gas. It is the most abundant element in the universe. Coming to the earth crust, this is the ninth most abundant element. Ninth most abundant element in earth crust. Okay, in earth crust this is the ninth most abundant element, whereas in the universe this is the most abundant element. Let's come into the isotopes. As we know, hydrogen exists in three isotopic forms. Three isotopic forms. One is H11, H12, H13. These are the three isotopes. As we know, isotopes are nothing but the species which are having the same atomic number but a different mass numbers, called what? Isotopes. Hydrogen having how many isotopes? Three isotopes. In that, the first one, the most stable isotope of an element. Most stable isotope of an element, we call it as what? Protium. Protium. Okay, and the second most abundant element isotope of hydrogen is what? Deuterium. Protium, deuterium, and the third one is tritium. Tritium. Protium, deuterium, and tritium. These are the three isotopes of hydrogen. So this is the most abundant isotope, and in the atmosphere, okay, what is the percent of abundancy of this protium? This is approximately 99.98 percentage. In the out of hydrogen, all hydrogen, 99.98 percentage is protium form only, and the remaining 0.016 percentage is what? Deuterium. And coming to the tritium, it is 1 out of 10 power 18 hydrogen molecules. Suppose out of 10 power 18 hydrogen molecules, and one molecule is in the form of tritium form. Okay, so these are the percent abundances. So what is the most abundant isotope of hydrogen? Protium. Okay, second most one is deuterium and tritium. So this tritium is a radioactive isotope. Radioactive isotope. Radioactive isotope. And when you compare these three isotopes, which is more reactive? Okay, so when you compare these three, that is H2, D2, T2, Okay, hydrogen molecule, deuterium molecule, and tritium molecule. Which is more reactive? So hydrogen is more reactive than deuterium than tritium. So this is what reactivity order. Reactivity order. What is the reason why hydrogen is more reactive than deuterium and tritium? Why? Because when you go from hydrogen to tritium, what happens? The bond energy increases. So here the bond energy, that is mm bond energy, increases when you go from hydrogen to tritium. That is because of lesser bond energy, hydrogen is more reactive than deuterium than tritium. Next, coming to the out of these three isotopes, which is the most stable isotope? Protium. So if you take the protium, so in protium, the number of protons is equal to 1. Why? Because the number of protons is always equal to its atomic number, and the number of electrons is equal to 1. Why? Because the neutral species, in case of neutral species, number of protons is equal to number of electrons, and the number of neutrons is equal to 0. Why? Because number of neutrons formula, atomic mass minus atomic number, or mass number minus atomic number, 1 minus 1, 0. So they may ask you the question, out of the three isotopes of hydrogen, which isotope has no neutrons? So without having neutrons, which isotope? Protium form only. Okay, so this is about the general introduction about the hydrogen and their isotopes. Okay, next, coming to the next one, let us discuss dihydrogen. Dihydrogen. So this is in this chapter we will discuss hydrogen and its compounds. So before we go into the compounds, let us discuss dihydrogen. Okay, as we know, hydrogen, it is a diatomic molecule. Okay, it is a diatomic molecule. It's a diatomic molecule. Next one, what is the position of hydrogen in the periodic table? This is a main problem. We need to discuss more on it. So position of hydrogen in periodic table. So when you go to the position of hydrogen in the periodic table, so where we usually in the few periodic table, hydrogen was introduced, filled in first group. Okay, in few periodic tables, hydrogen will keep it in the middle of the periodic table. So why? Because the hydrogen is showing the similarity with both 1A group element and also 7th A group elements. It is showing the similarity with both 1A and 7th A group elements. Because of its similarities with both 1A and 7th A group elements, so they have not included in both 1A and 7th A. They kept in the middle of both the groups. Okay, let us see what are the similarity of hydrogen with 1A and the similarity of hydrogen with 7th A. Let us see. Similarities of hydrogen. Similarity of hydrogen with alkali metals. Why? Because 1A group elements we call it as what? Alkali metals. What are the similarities? The first one, like alkali metals, the hydrogen have one electron in its valency shell. Like alkali metals, what is the general electronic configuration of alkali metals? NS1. That means valence shell has how many valence electrons? 1 valence electrons. Like alkali metals, hydrogen also having how many of electrons? 1 electron in the outermost shell. Okay, that is the one similarity. So because of having the 1 electron in the outermost shell, so it can easily lose 1 electron and shows +1 oxidation state. Like alkali metals, even the hydrogen also can easily lose that 1 electron, valence electron, and shows +1 oxidation state. Okay. Next one. Like alkali metals, the hydrogen is also always trying to hydrogen also act as a strong reducing agent. Like alkali metals, hydrogen acts as strong reducing agent. Strong reducing agents. Next one. Like alkali metals, hydrogen can form halides, oxides, sulfides. Okay, hydrogen can form halides, oxides and sulfides. Okay, so these are the few similarity of hydrogen with alkali metals. Okay, so coming to the similarity of hydrogen with halogens. Similarities with halogens. So if you compare with the halogens, like halogens, hydrogen is also a diatomic molecule. Okay, how we will write the hydrogen molecule? H2 molecule. Halogens also F2Cl2 Br. Like halogens, it is also a diatomic molecule. Okay, next one. Like halogens, the hydrogen can accept an electron. Okay, it can accept an electron to get what? Duplet configuration. Whereas halogens are accepting an electron to get octet configuration. So because of after it accepts the electron, what is the oxidation state? So that hydrogen can show -1 oxidation state. -1 oxidation state, and can be exist as what? H-, that is what? Hydride ion. Hydride ion. Whereas here it will exist as what? H+ ion. Okay. Next one. When you check the electronegativity of hydrogen, the electronegativity of hydrogen, okay, electronegativity of hydrogen is nearer to fluorine. Okay, electronegativity of hydrogen is almost nearer to fluorine. This is one more similarity with halogens. And like halogens, the hydrogen, it can form covalent compounds. It can form what? Covalent compounds. Okay, so these are the similarity of hydrogen with halogens. Okay, so it is showing the similarity with both alkali metals and also halogens. So because of their similarity with both 1A group and 7th A group element, so the position of hydrogen is in still dilemma. That is why they kept the hydrogen in between hydrogen family and halogen family. Okay, so this is a position of hydrogen. Okay, next coming to the preparation methods. Preparation methods of hydrogen. Okay, so hydrogen we can prepare in smaller quantity. Okay, so the methods of preparing hydrogen in a smaller quantity we call it as what? Laboratory methods. Lab methods means in laboratory we need smaller volumes of hydrogen. So to prepare the hydrogen in smaller amounts, we follow these laboratory methods. Next one, industrially. Okay, industrially they need bulk amounts. So those methods we call it as what? Industrial methods. Industrial methods. Okay, next one, commercial methods. Commercial methods means nowadays we are going to depending on the fuels like hydrogen. Okay, we are using the hydrogen as a rocket fuel. Okay, as in one of the energy source. So commercially we are using the hydrogen gas. That is why the methods that we are using to prepare the hydrogen in a very higher quantities. So those methods we call it as what? Commercial methods. Like this we are dividing the methods of preparation into 3 categories: so laboratory methods, industrial methods and commercial methods. Okay, let us first discuss laboratory methods. So in laboratory methods So first one, we can prepare the hydrogen from both acids and also from bases. So the first one, from acids. From acids. How can we prepare the hydrogen from acids? Simple method. This is the same method that the Henry Cavendish followed to identify the hydrogen. Okay, simple. So you take any acids. To this acids, you add metals like zinc. If you add zinc to the acids, then we get zinc salt with the liberation of hydrogen gas. If you add the metals like zinc to the acids, mineral acids, we are getting the zinc salt by the liberation of hydrogen gas. Best example, HCl you take, mineral acid. To this, if you add zinc dust, okay, we are getting ZnCl2 plus hydrogen gas. Or else you take H2SO4. To this, if you add zinc dust, we are getting zinc sulfate salt by the liberation of hydrogen gas. Okay, so these are the first method. Simply by the addition of a metal like zinc to the mineral acids, we are getting the hydrogen as a product. Okay, next one, from bases. From bases. Here, from bases also we can prepare a hydrogen like a base like NaOH, KOH like that. But here, by the addition of metal only, but the condition is that this metal should be an amphoteric metal. By adding amphoteric metals to the bases, amphoteric metals. What are the examples for amphoteric metal? So those are aluminium, okay, silicon, germanium, tin. Okay, so these are some examples for what? Amphoteric metals. If you add any of these amphoteric metals to the alkalis like NaOH, so we are getting, for example, here I am adding aluminium, I am adding. Okay, if you add aluminium to the NaOH, we are getting Na2AlO2 plus hydrogen gas. So by the addition of an amphoteric metal to the alkalis, okay, alkalis. What do you mean by the alkalis? Alkalis are nothing but the bases which can able to dissolve it in the water. Those alkalis those bases we called as alkalis. Okay, so if you add an amphoteric metal to the alkalis, okay, we are getting hydrogen as an byproduct. Okay, so these are the two laboratory methods we are following to prepare the hydrogen. Okay, next coming to the second one, that is what? Industrial methods. Industrial methods. In these industrial methods, okay, the first one is Bosch process. Bosch process. What is this Bosch process? Bosch process is nothing but the preparation of hydrogen by using coke, coal or coke. Okay, what they do? They will take the coal or coke, okay, reddish hot coke, a reddish hot coal. That means if you burn the coal until it becomes red glow. Okay, so to this reddish hot coke, if you pass the steam means H2O gases, H2O vapors. When you send the steam into the reddish hot coke, we are getting the mixture of CO and hydrogen. Okay, and this mixture we call it as, okay, what we call this mixture? The mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen, we call it as what? Water gas. Water gas, also called syngas, also called synthesis gas. Synthesis gas. Okay, so when we pass the steam onto the surface of reddish hot coal or coke, we are getting the mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen, and that mixture we call it as what? Water gas, also called syngas, also called synthesis gas. Okay, so in this mixture, hydrogen is one of the gas. So if you separate the CO gas from this mixture, the remaining gas is what? Hydrogen gas. Like this we can prepare hydrogen. This is what this process we call it as what? Bosch process. Okay. So under the industrial methods, the second method of preparation of hydrogen is what? Water gas shift reaction. Water gas shift reaction. So as we know, water gas is nothing but the mixture of CO plus hydrogen. This mixture we call it as what? Water gas. Water gas. Okay, and the percentage of hydrogen in this mixture can be increased by following this water gas shift reaction. How can we are going to increase the percentage of hydrogen in this mixture? Why? Because water gas we produce in Bosch process. In that process, what is the method of increasing the percentage of hydrogen in that water gas? That method we call it as water gas shift reaction. Yes, how to increase? Let us see. So you take that mixture CO plus hydrogen. This is what? Water gas. To this water gas, if you pass excess steam, okay, you are again sending what? Steam, H2O gas. Okay, when you pass the steam onto the surface of this water gas, so what happened in presence of what? Here 500 degrees temperature, 500 degrees temperature in presence of chromium oxide, okay, or iron oxide. In presence of Fe2O3 or chromium oxide at 500 degrees, if you pass the steam onto the mixture of CO and hydrogen, now what happens? This CO gas will oxidize into CO2 and 2 moles of hydrogen gas will produces. So like this we simultaneously are removing carbon monoxide and producing more amount of hydrogen. So like this what we are increasing the percentage of hydrogen in the gas mixture, and this shifting reaction we call it as what? Water gas shift reaction. Clear? Okay, next one. Preparation of hydrogen from hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons means alkanes, alkenes, alkynes. Yes, how can we prepare? We can prepare hydrogen even from hydrocarbons. Okay, how? Let us see. You take any hydrocarbon, onto the surface of hydrocarbon. If you pass steam onto that, when you send the steam onto the surface of hydrocarbons, in the presence of nickel as a catalyst, if you pass the steam onto the surface of hydrocarbons, then we will get CO and hydrogen. Okay, so this is what? Preparation of hydrogen from hydrocarbons. For that I am taking, what is the general formula of hydrocarbons? So for alkenes, what is the general formula? CnH2n plus 2. This is the general formula for alkenes. When you add this and H2O gas in presence of nickel, okay, it will produces n moles of CO and 2n plus 1 moles of hydrogen. N moles of CO and 2n plus 1 moles of hydrogen. So this is general representation of conversion of hydrocarbons into hydrogen. So for example, if you take C2H6, when you send the steam onto it, how many carbon atoms are there? 2 carbons are there, so that we are getting 2 moles of carbon monoxide and 2n plus 1, 2 2s are 4, 4 plus 1 5 moles of hydrogen gas will produces. So like this we can simply write the the number of moles of products from the reactants. Okay, so this is the preparation of hydrogen from hydrocarbons. Okay, next one, commercial methods. Commercial methods. So in that commercial methods, first of all, by electrolysis of acidulated water. Electrolysis of acidulated water, not pure water, acidulated water. Why? Because the pure water is what? It's a bad conductor of electricity. That is why to that water you just add small amount of acid, so that it becomes what? Acidulated water. Now to this water you take two electrodes, one is anode and another one is cathode. Okay, so this is anode and this is what? Cathode. Now what happened if when you, so this is what? Platinum rods. Let us consider this platinum rods acts as what? Electrodes here. When you electrolysis, what happened? H2O will splits into H plus ions and OH minus ions, and all cations are attracted towards cathode and anions are attracted towards anode, so that the hydrogen gas, that means liberating at which electrode ma? So cathode. At cathode H2 gas will liberates. Okay, what is a reaction taking place at a cathode? So that is the 2 H plus ions will gains 2 electrons and they liberate as hydrogen. Okay, so like this the process taking place. So the hydrogen gas is liberating at which electrode? Cathode. They may ask you this question. So by electrolysis of acidulated water, we can produce a hydrogen at cathode electrode. Okay, so this is one commercial method. And the next one, we can also produce the hydrogen as byproducts during the preparation of NaOH by Nelson cell method and Kastner-Kellner method. Kastner-Kellner process. Nelson cell methods and the Kastner-Kellner methods, these are the two methods of preparation of what? NaOH. Okay, so S block 1A group elements, we will discuss what is the Nelson cell process and what is Kastner-Kellner process. Okay, just remember, we are getting hydrogen as one of the byproduct. Okay, so during the preparation of NaOH in Nelson cell as well as Kastner-Kellner process. Here you should remember a point that we can prepare the pure 100% of hydrogen by the electrolysis of barium hydroxide. Barium hydroxide, you should remember this point. We can prepare the pure hydrogen by the electrolysis of barium hydroxide. Point with both also less for hydrogen, more for deuterium. Okay, and latent heat of freezing. So latent heat of freezing is more for deuterium. Whereas latent heat of vaporization is more for tritium. Tritium is having high latent heat of vaporization than the remaining two, whereas deuterium having high latent heat of freezing than the remaining two isotopes. So this is about some physical properties comparing the hydrogen and deuterium and tritium. Okay, now coming to that, as we know, hydrogen, it is a colorless gas. It is a colorless, odorless gas. Hydrogen is a colorless, odorless gas. What about the reactivity? So and as we know, when you compare the hydrogen with its isotope, that is the deuterium and tritium, hydrogen is more reactive. But in fact, hydrogen is alone, it is a less reactive. In fact, hydrogen is a less reactive species. What is the reason? Why? Because the hydrogen bond energy, the HH bond energy is very high. That is why it is less reactive at room temperature. Suppose if you increase the temperature, if you maintain some abnormal conditions, then it may react with other species. Okay, we discuss its chemical properties. So coming to the chemical properties, that reaction with non-metals. Reaction with non-metals. Under this reaction with halogens. Reaction with halogens. How it will react? So as we know, when hydrogen reacts with the halogens, they forms a corresponding halides. They forms a corresponding halides. And when you compare these halogens, what is the order of reactivity of halogens towards hydrogen? That is, fluorine is more reactive than chlorine, then bromine, then iodine. So this is the order of reactivity of halogens towards hydrogen. And sometimes fluorine is more very reactive. That is why there was a chances of explosions also. While we are treating the fluorine and the hydrogen, there was a chances of explosions. That is why should be very careful when we are mixing the hydrogen and fluorine. Okay, because the fluorine is highly reactive towards hydrogen. Okay, this is a reaction with halogens. Next one, another non-metal, that is what reaction with a nitrogen. Reaction with nitrogen. Yes, tell me how the hydrogen reacts with the nitrogen. As we know, this is what we call it as Haber's process. Haber's process. What is the Haber's process? 1 mole of nitrogen reacts with 3 moles of hydrogen. Okay, in the presence of iron as a catalyst and molybdenum as a promoter, and the temperature of 450 degrees to 500 degrees. Okay, and at the pressure of 200 atmospheric pressure, we are getting what? 2 moles of ammonia. So when nitrogen reacts with the hydrogen in the ratio of 1:3, we are getting what? Ammonia gas. And this method of preparation of ammonia gas we call it as Haber's process. So this is the reaction with nitrogen. Next one, reaction with the metals. Reaction with the metals. So when hydrogen reacts with the metals, okay, for example, metal M reacts with the hydrogen, they forms a corresponding hydrides. So when hydrogen reacts with the metals, what they forms? They forms a corresponding hydrides. Okay, in hydrides, hydrogen is exists as what? H minus ion, hydride ion presence. And to confirm the presence of hydride ion, suppose if you electrolyze this metal hydrides, hydrogen gas will liberate at which electrode? Anode. It confirms that in hydrides, hydrogen is present in the form of anion, that is H minus ion. Okay, so this is a reaction with metals. Okay, next one, reaction with metal ions or metal oxides. Reaction with the metal ions or metal oxides. Suppose if you react the metal ions with a hydrogen, okay, so as we know, hydrogen acts as what? Strong reducing agent. It reduces a neighbor and itself oxidizes. So hydrogen, suppose 2M plus ions, okay, it reduces the M, that is M plus ions are reducing as what? Metals, solids, and hydrogen will come out as what? H plus ions. Similarly, you take metal oxide, that is MO. Okay, so metal oxides reacts with the hydrogen. Okay, the metal oxides will come out as metal solid, and hydrogen will come out as what? H2. That means here hydrogen is acting as a reducing agent, and it reduces all metal ions into its solid metals and all metal oxides into metals. Okay, so this is a reaction with metal ions or metal oxides. Next one, reaction with carbon monoxide. Reaction with carbon monoxide. Yes, how it will react with the carbon monoxide? So if you take CO plus hydrogen, this is what? Water gas. To this you add one more hydrogen. That means when water gas is mixed with the hydrogen, okay, and it is on heating in the presence of nickel. Okay, what happened? We are getting CH4OH. CH3OH. What we call this one? Methanol or methyl alcohol. Okay, that means we are synthesizing methanol by using what? CO plus hydrogen. That is why we are calling this mixture as what? Syngas. Okay, so why we are calling the mixture of CO and hydrogen as a syngas, as synthesis gas? Why? Because by using this mixture we can synthesize alcohols. Okay, that is why we are calling this as a syngas or water gas. Okay, so when we pass the hydrogen onto the surface of water gas, we are synthesizing methanol. So this is a reaction with carbon monoxides. Okay, next one, action with vegetable oils. Reaction with vegetable oils. So if you take the vegetable oils, that means they are usually oils, fats. What is the difference between oils and fats? Oils are nothing but they both are fatty acids. Okay, oils are what? Unsaturated fatty acids. Unsaturated fatty acids means they have double bonds or triple bonds, whereas fats are nothing but saturated fatty acids. Saturated fatty, that means there was no double bonds. So you take oils. Oils are having unsaturation like this, double bonds. So to this oils, if you send the hydrogen in presence of nickel, okay, if you pass the hydrogen gas onto the surface of oils, now all double bonds will broken into single bonds. Okay, so they becomes what? Fats. Okay, all unsaturated fatty acids are converting into saturated fatty acids. Once they becomes saturated, all liquid oils becomes what? Solid fats. Okay, so this is what we call it as this is the reaction with vegetable oils. The preparation of dalda is based on this reaction only. Preparation of dalda. So when we send the hydrogen gas into that oils, okay, slowly what happens? That oil will solidify into dalda. So this is a vegetable oil, reaction of hydrogen with vegetable oils. Next method of preparation, next chemical reaction, that is what? Hydroformylation. Hydroformylation. Yes, what is hydroformylation? So the introduction of formyl group means aldehyde group into the hydrocarbons, let us see. So when alkenes, suppose if you take alkenes, when alkenes react with carbon monoxide and hydrogen, okay, carbon monoxide and hydrogen, when you send the water gas into the surface of alkenes, then what happens? First, the alkenes are converted into what? Aldehydes. This on further reduction, the aldehydes are converting into alcohols. Okay, this introduction of an aldehyde group into the hydrocarbons we call it as what? Hydroformylation. And I will give you an example. Alkene, that is a CH2 double bond CH2. This is what? Ethene. This ethene reacts with a CO and hydrogen. Okay, now this CO group is introduced in one carbon, so that we are getting CH, that the unsaturation will gone. So CH3, CH2, C double bond OH. So this group we call it as what? Formyl group. So the formyl group is introduced in alkenes. Okay, this is what we call as hydroformylation. So what is the name of this one? Propanol. Okay, this propanol on reduction. Suppose if we further reduce this, we are getting what? Propanol. CH3, CH2, CH2OH. So this is we call it as what? Propanol, NOEL. So this is what? The hydroformylation of alkenes. Okay, so these are the chemical properties of hydrogen. Next, in the last, what are the uses of hydrogen? So as we know, industrially by using hydrogen we are going to prepare the most important compounds, ammonia, okay, and also what many of the hydrocarbons we are going to prepare by using hydrogen. Okay, the next one, the liquid hydrogen, we are using liquid hydrogen used as what? Rocket fuel. We are using this liquid hydrogen as rocket fuel. And also this hydrogen is used as what? Reducing agent in metallurgical process. In so many of metallurgical process, while we are extracting the metals from their ores, we are using this hydrogen as one of the reducing agent. Okay, and also we are using this hydrogen to reduce the metal hydrides into metals, metal oxides into metals. Okay, and also we are using this hydrogen as what? Oxyhydrogen blowtorch. Oxyhydrogen blowtorch. And this oxyhydrogen blowtorch, okay, it gives a flame which is having very high temperature. So on this oxyhydrogen blowtorch that we are using to cut or for welding purpose, cutting of metals or for welding purposes, we are using this oxyhydrogen flames. Like this, there were so many uses with this hydrogen nowadays. Okay, so this is the uses of hydrogen.